Well, howdy there. Today I'm going to show you guys some of the best things I've rustled up in them dollar bins. I have 10 books right here that I think have been my best dollar bin finds. I'm kind of a dollar bin aficionado, I guess you could say. We have a lot of comic shops in my area, and just about every one of them has at least some kind of a dollar section. And people are always blown away at some of the great stuff I find, and it actually came to my attention that a lot of people don't have dollar bins in their area. Let's just get right into it. This is no particular order of coolness. I think these are all pretty great, but the first one I wanted to talk about a little bit was the Spectre number 22. This is from the John Ostrander run of Spectre. And a lot of these books you can find in dollar bins. It's not very expensive for most Spectre books, but this one is particularly cool, and a lot of people like picking it up, even people who don't collect Spectre, because this was the first time Alex Ross did a cover for DC, and look at that, it's beautiful. I do happen to be a fan of the Spectre, so I think it's really cool that this has kind of some key value based on the Alex Ross cover. And I got it in a dollar bin. The only thing wrong with it is there's like a little pinhole, like right there on Superman's arm. Like someone stuck a little pin in the book, but you really have to look up close to see it. It's a beautifully presenting copy, and that's one I was really happy to find in a dollar bin. The next one I was really happy to find in a dollar bin. I actually found a near complete run of Infinite Crisis, but I pulled out issue number 5 because this is a key. This is the first appearance of Jaime Reyes as the Blue Beetle, who became Blue Beetle after Ted Kord. And then this one right here was really neat to me because I just picked it up for it being a cool cover, for it being an anniversary issue, and then I found out later on that this is actually a 1 in 25, and I think this was like 2006, so 1 in 25s were still kind of a big deal back then. And so yeah, it's cool to have such an early ratio variant, and that's really awesome cover. I love the all white look to it. And I found a little bit of Golden Age in the dollar bins too. This one was a recent pickup, and it's Tweety and Sylvester, I believe issue number 7, and look at that. Such a great cover. So yeah, it was cool, even though it's not a crazy valuable book to find in a dollar bin. And then this one actually is a fairly valuable book that I got for $1, and it was actually a little bit less because the shop owner cut me a deal. I got 12 books and I paid $10, so you do the math. This is DC Comics Presents number 47, which is the first appearance of the Masters of the Universe, so He-Man, Skeletor. Their first comic appearance was right here in this Superman crossover book, and these are really fun. These are books that you do find in dollar bins a lot, so didn't surprise me to see this one in there as well, and it is a low-grade copy. There's actually a chunk missing from the back, but if you're willing to get low-grade copies, I always find some really, really cool stuff in the dollar bins, so yeah, obviously, you know, how cool your dollar bins are will vary based on all sorts of things where you live, but the area I'm in, I've been really lucky. So this was another one I got the same day as that Masters of the Universe. This is the Shadow number 1. I love Bronze Age DC, and this is an awesome book by Denny O'Neil, who has done a lot of great work for the DC universe, for Batman, so don't know that much about the Shadow, but he's got a cool hat, I'll say that. That's a pretty dope hat, my man. And yeah, that's just such a cool book, very nice condition too. The last one I showed you was not in very good condition, but this one is quite nice. So yeah, Shadow #1 seems like a fun series to read. And sometimes you can find some very modern stuff in the dollar bins. This is one I found recently, and this is a very recent release within the last year. This is Action Comics, I believe, 1075, which is already an oversized anniversary issue, so very cool. And this is also a 1 in 25 variant, so yeah, sometimes shops will just put some of their new inventory that didn't sell in the dollar bins, and this is really cool. I would have bought this even if it wasn't a 1 in 25, and yeah, very, very cool. Sort of 4th of July sort of themed book, and yeah, can't beat it for that price. So you can find all kinds of stuff: silver, golden age, Bronze Age. Here's some more Bronze Age, a little bit of Bronze Age horror. It's a Secrets of a Haunted House #1. And yeah, I really like DC Bronze Age. This is a series I don't really know much about, but you know what? I had to check it out. Issue #1 for $1. This is definitely one I've seen people charge more for online, so yeah, can't pass it up for that. And then this one, kind of a personal favorite, nothing really too spectacular about it, but this is another Bronze Age DC, kind of dipping into that Bronze Age horror a little bit with the Spectre in Adventure Comics #437. Yeah, I really like Bronze Age DC, if you can't tell, so to find that stuff for $1, very, very cool. And then this one is the last one I'm going to show, and I'm kind of cheating because there are actually two, but this is Wonder Woman '97, which is this really cool Jokerized Wonder Woman cover by Brian Boland, and Brian Boland is a very, very popular artist. You might know him from The Killing Joke, so to have this cool Wonder Woman Joker sort of cover. And then there's another one too. This is '96, and I got these the same day. This one's definitely the more iconic one though, and I see people charging like $10 each for these, so had to grab them when I found them for $1. So a lot of these books would have been at least $10, $15 books. Some of them a little more than others, particularly this one. But, a lot of what you find in the dollar bin is not super valuable. You're going to see a lot of the same types of books, but if you know what you're looking for, if you do a lot of digging, and you'll be able to find some good stuff. You can surprise yourself sometimes. You might have to dig through a lot of the same stuff. I see a lot of the same Legends of the Dark Knight that I already have, Shadow of the Bat, and not saying there's anything wrong with those stories, but when you do a lot of dollar bin diving and you're used to seeing a lot of the same things, it definitely, you can sort of tell when something is something good. You can sort of see how it stands out from what you're used to seeing, and I think I am definitely pretty good at, spotting some of the good stuff. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys have found, if you guys have found anything really cool in a dollar bin. I'd love to hear it. I always love hearing about what you guys pick up as well. Do you have any of these books? And if you do, what did you pay for them? I know a lot of people were telling me they paid significantly more for this book, and so I feel very fortunate to have waited and found it out in the wild. It really is worth it to wait and to find that book that you've been waiting for a lot cheaper than someone may have had it online. At least in my experience, my local comic shops are significantly cheaper than anyone I've seen online by far. So let me know, do you have any cool dollar bin spots, or do they not really show up in your area? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and peace out.